Everyone recognized that, right? 419 here at KXND. Good afternoon. Great to have you with us. Ah, yeah. American Woman, No Time, Share the Land, Hand Me Down World, Laughing, on and on. Clap for the Wolfman, These Eyes. How many more hits has this guy had? Burton Cummings, formerly with the Guess Who, now on his own tomorrow night, doing a great show, and Sunday night at the Orleans. You got to go see it. Burton Cummings with us now on KXNT. Good afternoon. Welcome to KXNT, Burton Cummings.
Hi, Alan. You know, every tune you just mentioned, we did last night. every one of those songs you mentioned, we do in the show.
You do all of the hits and then some. And, you know, I've got to tell you, we've seen you every time you've been here in Las Vegas. And I want to tell you, you are one of the most energetic performers I've ever seen. You put everything into it. By the end of the night, you're sweating like a pig because you've really gotten into it. I'm telling you, that's a compliment. You really are.
Thank
I mean, you do a great show.
We try and honor the records. We try and sound like the records, and I have a great band, and I've had the same band now for almost 15 years, so we're pretty tight, you know. And it was great last night. And as I said, every one of those songs you mentioned, we do all the big records, and we do some other things as well. And once in a while, I'll do a couple of numbers by myself at the piano. I'll kick the other guys off the stage and do a couple things alone. But it's become a pretty good show. It's about 2 hours straight through.
And yeah, and audiences absolutely love it. I know your first professional appearance was at about the age 14, and I know how old you are now because you're about 8 days older than I am exactly. Yours December 31st, mine's January 7th, so we're the same age. So you've been rocking and rolling for a lot of years.
Long time, well over half a century. And I've never had what they call a real job. I've just always been in music, you know, from the time I was 13 or 14.
You know, what was your first hit record? Do you remember?
The first big one was These Eyes, but we had a lot of failures before that, and a lot of back-to-back failures, a lot of heartbreak before that one took off. But then everything changed. You know, that changed everything, and then we were very, very lucky to follow that with a whole bunch of others. So for about 3 years there, we had a record in the top 20 all the time for about 3 years straight.
Wow. I'm talking with Burton Cummings, a great entertainer, formerly the lead singer for Guess Who, doing a show tomorrow night and Sunday night out at the Orleans. And if you have not been out there yet, in addition to free parking, you're going to see an absolutely great show out there. Great show. Now, you started a lot of your training, I understand. You got involved in operetta, actually. Is that true?
Yeah. In high school, I had the tenor lead in first year was HMS Pinafore. And the second year was Trial by Jury, and I had the tenor lead in both of those. And it was a huge undertaking because it's not just singing, but pages and pages of dialogue. But it was great training, and I was still very young, and it made me very comfortable on stage in front of people, not just singing rock and roll, but, you know, doing something completely different. But that was the only training, but it was pretty good training because it was a lot of work. You know, we would work for most of the school year, and then the operetta would be on in like May, almost before the end of the year. So a lot of training, a lot of hard work, but it was pretty good for the vocal training.
Learning to sing from the diaphragm.
Yeah, but not so much that as just you know, your pitch and how to deliver and how to breathe. And it was really very, very good. I think it helped me a lot.
Now, by the way, I love your accent. You're from Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, originally.
Originally from Winnipeg.
I live in LA. I live in Los Angeles now.
I understand. You've got a place in Malibu or something like that, some big place.
No, I'm up in the hills. In Sherman Oaks, way up in the hills.
Way up there.
But we also have a place on Vancouver Island, so I go back and forth to Vancouver Island.
Wow, that is very, very cool. I'm talking to Burton Cummings, great singer, formerly lead singer of the Guess Who, doing a show tomorrow night and Sunday night out at the Orleans Arena. They may have a few tickets left. If not, sorry about that. Wait till he comes back next time, but you ought to try to get him. Who do you think influenced you the most when it comes to songwriters?
Oh, I would definitely think Lennon and McCartney. You know, they were when Randy and I were writing first together. They were our heroes. But we liked all the teams. We liked Bacharach and David. We liked Thomas and Schumann. We love Lieber and Stoller.
Yes.
The real great teams. Randy and I kind of tried to pattern ourselves after those people. We were never the writers that they were, but especially Lennon and McCartney. That was just remarkable. They always had something new coming up, and it always seemed to be better than the last one.
Well, you talk about Randy. You're talking about Randy Bachman, who went on to become part of the Bachman-Turner Overdrive.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you wrote with Randy, I mean, who wrote the lyrics and who was in charge of the music?
I did usually most of the lyrics and half of the music. Randy would come up with riffs and stuff, great guitar riffs and stuff, and then we just go from there. But mostly, the lyrics on all the records are mostly mine.
Wow, and I understand also that you started your piano lessons when you were about 5 years old. Is that true?
Yeah, from the time I was about 5, and I didn't really want to do it. My mother forced me. My mother forced me to take the lessons, but I'm sure glad she did. I hated it until I was about 9 or 10. And then I could play Runaway by Del Shannon and Bumble Boogie and a few other things on the radio. And then that made me a bit of a hero at school. So after that, she couldn't drag me away from the piano. But it was tough at first for her to get me to practice.
When you're on that keyboard, I'm telling you, you make that keyboard sing. I mean, in and of itself. I mean, that's absolutely true.
I'm not really the greatest piano player. I like people like, I listen to people like Keith Jarrett and Bruce Hornsby and stuff. Those are real piano players. I'm just kind of a pounder. The piano for me is just more or less to accompany the vocals.
I'm talking with Burton Cummings, a former lead singer of the Guess Who, doing a show tomorrow and Sunday out at the Orleans. You said last night, I'm sure the audience went crazy last night when you did all this stuff. What do you think has kept all this music? Listen, again, you and I are the same age, so I get the music. But what do you think has kept people so attracted to all this kind of music after all these years?
Well, it's because today the music is far more disposable. The songs don't have the shelf life they used to. And real classic rock was tremendous, especially in the 60s. When the British invasion occurred, there was so much great stuff on the radio. Every week there were 20 or 30 new songs, and they were all good. I don't think music lasts the way it used to. It's far more disposable now.
You hit something very important. There used to be 20, 30 new songs come out every week, and 9/10 of them were fantastic. And that was week after week, month after month, year after year. And it was a great era for music.
Well, it's not the same now because first of all, there's a lot of machines in the music. That's one thing I like about our band. We're organic. Everything is real. Everything that we do is being played and sung right there for real. We don't use any kind of tracks, any kind of sequencing, none of that stuff. We're just an organic group. And I think today there's just too many machines. You can auto-tune a vocal now. You don't have to even be able to sing on key anymore because you can tune it like a guitar. So it's not as musical to me, and I would put quotes around the word musical, but it's not quite as musical to me as it used to be.
Well, I can tell you that Vegas is thrilled that you're here. I'm glad that you've chosen to come back year after year. People love your music, and the audience goes crazy, and we will be in the audience tomorrow night with everybody else going nuts.
Excellent, excellent. I love coming here. This is my 4th time, I think. And it's becoming a bit of a regular event now, and I'm thrilled by that. I'm still a kid from Winnipeg. When I fly in and I see myself on the billboard, it's still a big buzz for me, And I'm not being falsely humble. I mean, I really, it's a buzz for me to come here. I like it. And this time, this is the most nights we've done. We're doing 3 nights this time, last night and then Saturday and Sunday. So it's becoming a bit of a regular event, and that makes me very happy. And the guys in the band love it, too. We all love coming here.
I hope you do it for many, many, many years to come. And again, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, Burton.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you very, very much for the kind words.
Have a great night, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
Okay. Take care, my man.
You
Thanks.
too. Be well. Burton Cummings joining us right here at News Talk 840 AM, KXNT.